Hello there. I was debating with myself, should I publish this video or not? Because YouTube is full of people who have built river tables or epoxy tables. And there's really nothing special actually about this build. But I do have a kind of a reason and a story why I decided to first build this and then again make this video. So as I've mentioned pretty much on all of my videos, I am not a professional woodworker, I'm not a full-time woodworker, I actually still have a day job and I'm at my workshop only every other week and basically only on evenings and weekends. So I don't have too much time to build. But I got a commission for this piece from a customer, and like 2 or 3 years ago when I built my first pieces of furniture, they were actually kind of exactly the same thing that I will be building here. But back then I didn't have the fancy tools I have now. I was using my router for flattening the slabs and very basic tools. So in a way it was actually interesting now to try this out after 3 years of building more advanced pieces of furniture. How would this feel now? Does it motivate me? And it was actually quite fun. And I spent quite a while calendar time building this, because while I was building other stuff, when my glues were drying or I needed to wait, then I worked with this one maybe 30 minutes, 1 hour, and then I got back to other projects. So it wasn't like a real time consumer. I was just filling the gaps in a way, so spending time with this when I had time. So overall it was an interesting thing. Maybe I should talk about the build as well. So what you have seen me doing so far is that I've been preparing the slabs or being ready for the epoxy pour, and in order to do that I will need a mold, which is what I'm building here from scrap pieces of plywood that I have. And there are better videos on YouTube explaining in detail every single step on how to create an epoxy table. But if you haven't seen and you're wondering what I'm doing here, I'm just making sure that the mold is sealed all over, because once I pour in the epoxy, if there's even the tiniest of hole somewhere, it will leak, and that's not a nice experience. Ask me how I know. It has happened to me many times. Some people prefer to use this melamine and have the mold release on top of it. I've tried it many times and it kind of works for me, but I actually prefer to use packing tape to make sure that the epoxy doesn't get tied to the mold itself. So for me, after building like, I don't know, maybe 5 of these tables, I prefer the tape, but whatever works for you, doesn't really matter, you get the same end result. But as mentioned, I have had some problems with using the mold release and melamine, so that's why I'm using tape here. I actually do have a video on my channel showing one case where I had a complete disaster when I tried to get the table out from the mold. So that happens. What I'm doing here, I'm just calculating the volume of epoxy I need to mix. It's fairly expensive stuff. I don't want to just randomly make too much of it and then throw liters or gallons out, because that would be just waste of money. So back to the experience on building this now, when I actually have a workshop, when I have a big planer what I can just use to push this table through. Obviously things are easier and faster when I have the room and space to do it. When I built my first ones some years ago, I didn't even have a workshop. I was actually building them outside, and when I needed to put the table and epoxy to dry, I carried it inside and let it be there, and then I continued building outside. I didn't have a proper table, so I didn't have a jointer, I didn't have a planer. So as mentioned, with very simple tools you can build this. The biggest difference is, first of all, it's warmer inside because it's winter in Finland now. But I mean, it is faster. Obviously, the tools will help you to be faster, but in terms of is the end result better because I have better tools? Not really. I mean, maybe I'm a bit more skilled, I can do some things better, but the tools itself, at least on this type of table, they don't really matter apart from the speed at which you can execute it. So that's maybe the biggest difference that I see now when I'm thinking back. How was it to build these 3 years ago? I'm copying from Blacktail, for example, the thing here where I'm brushing the edges of the slabs to get the bubbles out. When Cam from Blacktail says that this is the best practice, I trust him. So getting the bubbles out and then using the torch to pop them off. It's usually recommended to keep the table inside the mold and let the epoxy dry at least a week. Some people say even 2 or maybe even 3 weeks is fine. In my case, this was in the mold probably over a month because this wasn't like the main project I was building, as I mentioned. I was just spending time with this whenever I had time. I was building other stuff. This wasn't a priority, so after, I don't know, 1 month, 1.5 months, I started working with this again. And here you see how well the tape actually works. So the table is very easy to get off. And as I mentioned, I have different experiences with the mold release. With this one, you just see the table came off easily. And then it's very easy to take the rest of the tape off. Yes, obviously there is a bit of waste. It's always a bit of a shame. But in this case, I choose a thing that works. And now, difference to earlier, what I couldn't have done 2-3 years ago to push this whole table through my planer. Back then, I had to use my router. The end result is exactly the same. The biggest difference is the time, because it took me like 1 minute to do that. It would have probably taken me a few hours to set everything up and do the process with a router, but both are very, very easy and fine. But I am very happy, of course, that I have the big workshop now with the fancy tools. One thing with this project was that it was always supposed to be a cheap table for the customer who was actually paying for it. So the material I bought, even though it's walnut, was actually quite cheap because the material was pretty thin to start with. And after all the planing I had to do, it was roughly an inch at this stage. And I didn't like the way it looks because it was too thin, just looked a bit wobbly. So the way I attempted to fix the issue that it didn't please my eye was to use this big chamfer bit to create this kind of interesting profile to make it look even thinner. And I actually think it worked out because now the table is much more interesting to watch. It looks like that was planned all along. But in reality, I mean, as I mentioned, this was kind of a budget piece and I just did what I had to do. But I like the end result actually. It's nice when it's thin and it has this profile, but I guess you could argue. Some people don't like it, some do. After that one, when the profile is done, there's always these small gaps and knot holes, whatever they're called, in epoxy after planing and sanding them. So, as everybody else, I filled them up with more black epoxy and then I'm sanding them off so that everything will be nice and flush. And basically the fixes will be completely invisible once all of these processes are done. Then the chamfer, I never know how to pronounce it. I guess it depends where you're from. I was using this scraper to get most of the epoxy out, and then I took my sanding block and just hand sanded it. Maybe I could have used my orbital sander here, but I think for me and my skill set, it is safer to do that part with a hand sander, because there's always a risk of rounding it up with the machine when you do those angles. Some more skilled builders probably could do it, but for me, that was a better way. And I'm sure if you've seen any YouTube videos about woodworking, you have seen that people usually do the water popping. In weird case you don't know why this is done, the reason is that before the final sanding, doing this water popping will lift up the grain, because otherwise once you apply the finishing oil, the grain would be lifted up and the doesn't feel nice. So in this case, doing the water popping, sanding it one more time with 180 grit in my case, then putting the finishing oil will leave you with a very, very smooth and nice surface. And I'm using Rubio Monocoat Walnut here, so it's actually a new oil. I've never tried this before. I've used the pure, but I haven't used the walnut. So this has a bit of a more tint in it, and I actually like it. I will surely use this with walnut in future. Usually I leave my coats to one with Rubio. In this case, I wasn't completely happy with how it looked like, so I used my Scotch Brite pad to give it a light sanding, and then I applied a second coat. Again, I know this is something that some people do every time. I only do this when needed, so in most cases one coat of Rubio is fine. But in this case I actually got a much better end result by doing 2 coats. No idea why. Maybe it's the wood, maybe it's the moisture, maybe it's something else, but not a big issue. Applying the second coat overall with sanding and everything was probably like a 15-minute job, so better to do it. Keeping with the theme on a budget table build, I just bought pin legs and quickly screwed them in, and that's it. The table is done. As I mentioned, nothing fancy, nothing special, a very budget-friendly table. I actually enjoyed it. It was fun to build something now after 2 or 3 years that I originally started with, and getting back to basics in a way. So it was fun, and I got a few $100 selling this table, so all good.